Hey friends, welcome to the Guitar Show. This is the 30-day guitar challenge. Just having some fun with some AC/DC there. It is April the 17th, right? And as per promised, I'm going live with you. Hey kid, hush up in there. My boy. I'm going live with you every single day during April for 2 hours. From 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. If you haven't joined us for these, then welcome. We're going to have a blast here today. We're going to learn a ton. 2 hours of live every single day during the month of April. It takes 21 to 30 days to create a habit, and that's what we're doing with a 30-day guitar challenge. The first hour is a beginner lesson. The second hour is an advanced lesson. Today's beginner lesson is going to be on basic chord technique. So if your chords are muting out, if they're fretting out, if they don't sound good, I'm going to help you there. And then our advanced lesson today is bar chords. If you know how to play a bar chord, friends, you can play hundreds of new chords. So this is something we want to get in our bag of tricks. Everybody sucks at bar chords at first, but once you learn how to do it, then you'll get automatically good, just like everybody else who sucked at it and then got good. That's all it is. It's just practice, all right? So as per promised, I'm also going to be answering your questions in real time. Yes, I am wearing my Key West shirt today because it's beautiful outside today. Birds are singing. Sun is shining hard. It's like 75 degrees today, and I'm very, very excited to dig into this with you today. Cool. What else? Oh, the PDF. Get the PDF right now, which has our syllabus, everything that's in our beginner, everything that's in our advanced bit here. I've had a little bit too much caffeine today. I'm pretty excited. So get that, right? PDF 1, or the PDF, the first link I should say below. The second link is going to give you access to the Unstoppable Guitar System Standard, which is the first 30 something or another. We keep sticking more videos in it, like the first 33, 35 something videos that are literally the most powerful videos that you're ever going to find, and I give them to you for free because it's going to build a solid foundation. Okay, it's for free. It's the second link below. In fact, you're going to hear me talk about it a lot. Even for folks who have been to a lot of my broadcasts, they're like, yeah, I just want this answer, but I don't really want to learn it. So you'll hear me direct them to that video series all the time because that's really, truly where you're going to get the answers, and I'm providing it to you for free, okay? So help me help you, okay? If you have not already, give this video a thumbs up. That'll let other folks know that it's a pretty cool video. And if you would like to have more of my videos, then subscribe and hit that notification bell because they say it's important, so probably it is, so do that. Also, if you would, be a kind gent, a kind lady, and share this video. So right next to the like, you can share it. You know how to do that. Oh, look, honey, the FedEx guy is here. Maybe a new guitar. No? No, probably not. Nope, that's not the size of a guitar. Okay, let's get into it, shall we? We're going to talk first about basic chord technique, okay? And also, I'm going to go to my chat here. Make sure I'm muted. Yes, I am. There I am. I'm muted. Okay, all right. And there's my chat of all my amazing folks. Love your new excuses video. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so someone's in the Unstoppable Guitar System, right? So, if you want access to my videos for free, or if you want them early, that's another fringe benefit of being in the Unstoppable Guitar System. So, yay, Gerald, so glad that you saw it. I'm glad that you love it. That's dropping tomorrow, friends. If you want to know the excuses to not play guitar, all the reasons that you shouldn't play guitar, because you're probably thinking that's you know, too old, too young, hands too small, that sort of thing. I have a video for you that'll answer those questions on when to know it is a good time to quit. Okay? Probably pretty important that you know that. All right, so watch that. That's coming out tomorrow, but if you're in UGS, you probably received an email already on that, okay? Yes, I will point that camera down a little bit. Let's do it. Hair keeps getting taller, and that should work, right? Sure should. Okay, now, if you've been following along, which you should because you can't skip stuff, all right? The only shortcuts, okay, there are shortcuts in life, but a shortcut is when you skip something, right? So if this is the route that you're supposed to go, wow, it is really windy out there. If this is the route that you're supposed to go, if this is the long way, and this is the shortcut, and you can take the shortcut, but you didn't get to see all the stuff that was happening here, okay? So just like in guitar or anything else that you want to learn, if you take a shortcut, you can do that, but you're skipping stuff. Don't fool yourself by thinking that you're doing the same thing as doing the actual journey, okay? Don't fool yourself, and if you're wondering why you're having issues, if you wonder why you're frustrated on guitar, it's 100,000% that it's because you took a shortcut and or you're expecting things to happen quicker than they should. But usually that second part happens because you're doing a shortcut. Because if you walk through it step by step, the way that I'm guiding you through these 30 days, and the way I guide you through the Unstoppable Guitar System Standard, which is free for you today, second link below, if you follow that step by step and you don't quit, now that part's your part. I can't do that for you. You have to do that. If you don't quit, and I will be faithful with you, show up with you every single day and guide you through this, you will learn how to play guitar. The only thing that's stopping you is some lame excuse that isn't true, so then you'd be lying to yourself. Don't do that, not cool. Because if you're lying to yourself, it means you're lying to others. Don't do that, number one. Or you just quit. You're just like, this is too much for me. And that there's no foul in that, you know what I mean? To start something and then decide you don't like it. There's no foul in that. But don't say it's because you didn't have the right instruction or because you weren't cut out for it. But you probably should watch that video tomorrow to find out if you're one of the people that should quit guitar, okay? So watch that video and then maybe you are. Maybe you are one of those folks, okay? There are some reasons why we shouldn't play guitar, or at least a reason. I'm sure that video will reveal it tomorrow, okay? Okay, so let's talk about it. So again, the shortcuts, that's why reason I said that is we've worked up to this point, right? We're more than halfway through this challenge. So we learned basic things like basic fretting technique, basic picking technique, and what have you. So we've graduated now. Right? Flip your tassel over to the other side, friends, because now we're getting into chords. But we can't get into chords without learning the basic fretting technique. So if you have issues with this, more than what we're going to basically run into as we keep pressing against our edge, if you have more issues with this and you're so frustrated, it's because you skipped stuff. Don't do it, all right? So let's talk about the basic chord technique now. Remember we said we want our thumb kind of dropped behind the back of the neck. So it might look something like this. Let me show you exactly how this should go, okay? Oh, look at that. Look at that python there. So really you should drop this thumb behind the back of the neck here like this. If it's over here, if it's over the top of the neck, that's no good because now you don't have the slack right here that you should have. Kareem Zeigler, thank you so much. Rocked out with you guys yesterday on my 40th birthday and jammed by myself. I had the time of my life. Thank you so much for all you've done. This is the most I've been consistently playing. Yes! I love that. Thank you for the inspiration, and thank you so much for the kind donation, my friend. Super kind. So if you got your thumb over the back of the neck, look, you don't have any room here, and now you are confined because your fingers don't stretch. Even though we talk about stretching exercise, they really don't stretch. But watch what happens if I take my thumb and I drop it like this. Boop. Now look at this. Wow, my hands just got a lot longer and I can do all sorts of things with it. Now this is uncomfortable because we're not used to holding things like this. When we grab a shovel, we palm it because we don't want to drop it, and that makes sense. But if we are fretting the guitar, we need to have some room right here, okay? So that's number one. You got to drop that thumb behind the back of the neck, and you got to have some room there so you can get those little fingers out front. Because it doesn't matter what size your hand is. Doesn't. You think it does, but that's not the reason, and you've got to believe me on this. I've met with enough students with teeny tiny itsy bitsy little doll hands, and they were able to play fine. And then I get some chap in with really big hands, and he wasn't practicing, and he wouldn't get any better. So it has nothing to do with that, okay? Just understand that, believe it, If you're not going to believe me, and I've taught all these folks, then you're on your own. Then you're going to have to navigate it yourself. Then why are you even watching this if I'm not going to guide you, right? Believe me. Drop the thumb behind the back of the neck. Now, we talked about that basic fretting technique. Let's review it really quickly. Playing on your fingertips, right? So taking a pen and doing this is going to assure that you're playing on the right part of the finger. And what I mean by that is people say, well, isn't this your fingertip? This right here? This whole bit here? It is, but it's not the part of the fingertip that needs to be touching the string. Okay? It should be that part right there. Do you see that? Wow, look at me. I need to do decaf. Wow, shaky. Right there, that's the part of the finger that should be touching the string, not here. If you're touching here, you're gonna start muting notes out, and that most likely is the bigger part of your problem. So we drop the thumb behind the back of the neck, and then that allows those fingers to come out front, allows us to play on our fingertips. That's really, really important, okay? Because you're not playing on your fingertips, you're gonna start fretting stuff out. But we got to start with a thumb drop behind the back of the neck, so that we can play on our fingertips. We're playing close to the fret. The closer you are to the fret, the less hard you have to press down. If you're further away from the fret, this is the fret. If I'm further back, it starts muting out. I have to press harder. But if I get close to the fret, I don't have to press very hard at all. Okay? Diego, small hand guy here. Doesn't matter. Diego, you could be the best guitar player in the world, and we know that. You know that, I know that, right? So you get close to the fret here, for sure. Each fret gets a finger, right? Don't get lazy and just play with fingers 1 and 2, or even 1, 2, 3. Use that, throw that pinky in there. You're gonna need it at least for your chords, okay? You can play solos and stuff with your 3rd finger. There's a lot of great guitar players that did that. But I would try to get your pinky involved. It's there, you might as well, right? Take advantage of it. Be resourceful. So now, playing on the fingertips, you got the thumb behind the back of the neck. What's up with this Italian accent, or the behind the back of the neck? Get close to the fret. Cool. Now, the very last thing, which is really, really, really an important thing, people will drop their shoulder, they'll get a footstool out, they'll do all these things, right, to assure that they're playing their chord right. Drop the shoulder, get the elbow out front and all this stuff. You don't have to do any of that. The only thing you need to do, and I have seen the fruit of this through people's comments. By the way, we're over 600 folks in the chat. That makes me super happy. That's probably because you guys are sharing this and liking this, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. The most important thing is that you have room underneath your fingers so that when you do go to play a C chord or whatever chord, it doesn't sound like this. See how I'm hearing one note? Really, only one note that sounds good. All the other ones are not. That's because I'm muting these notes, and even though I'm got the right chord playing there, my thumb's over the top of the neck, the back of the neck. So if I drop my thumb, it provides a little bit more room. Now let's listen again. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 notes, almost 4 notes that are coming out there. One of them's not coming out. Adele, thank you so much. Or Addie, thank you so much for the donation. So kind, fist bump. Thank you. So we don't have all the notes there. Now, what's the difference between this and the way you should be playing it is this last knuckle. This is the magic. If you do this, you don't have to drop your shoulder, you don't have to get a footstool out, you don't have to dislocate your collarbone or anything like that. You literally only have to do this. You curl that knuckle like this. Think about this. It's the difference between this and this. You can do this. Take your hand, put it straight up in the air, and try to get a 90-degree angle right here, okay? It may be hard for you, especially if you have swollen fingers or something like that, but that should be what you're doing there. And I posted something the other day about arthritis, swollen fingers, and what have you. For me, and for a lot of people, what's happening is they're eating too many animal products, and animal products are really highly inflammatory on the body. They're not the only thing. Some grains and stuff like that can do it. as well. Sugar, obviously. But if you cut that stuff out, for me, I have deformed fingers. You can see my pinky is deformed there. It's all bent weird. That finger's bent weird. My thumb, second bird finger there, and the pinky again, also deformed. It's really weird. 1, 3, and 5 on both hands, deformed, because I went through wicked arthritis. I was eating bad, but I don't eat bad. I don't eat as bad anymore. I eat a lot better. But that, if you clean up your diet, don't eat inflammatory foods, or stay away from some. Alkaline water is really good. Just get your alkalinity up is really good for your body. That will help a ton, okay? But let's say you don't have any problems there, then just curling that last knuckle. Put your hand up in the air and do a nice karate chop like that. That's proof that you can curl that knuckle. And then when you're going to play your chords, if you just concentrate on curling that knuckle as much as possible, which to develop a habit, again, since it's not a habit already, it's not hardwired into your system. Listen to Joe Dispenza about stuff like this. Dr. Joe Dispenza, he's amazing. You've got to rewire your brain, and the only way to do that is through habits. And so we're establishing a habit, and always day one of a habit is the day where you're just like, I don't get it, this is frustrating, I quit. But don't do that, okay? Just understand that when we're establishing a new habit, the first day is always that day that's challenging, where you're like, I don't think I can do this. Don't lie to yourself. You know you could do it. You're just gonna have to do it a second day and a third day, and so on and so forth. Michael, thanks for the donation, bud. So appreciative, friend. Clint, the donation button is at the bottom left next to the smiley face. In fact, when somebody donates, you'll see it kind of flash a little bit. Next to the smiley face, there's a little US dollar symbol there. If you click that, you can donate. Cool? Thank you, and I appreciate that very much. It means a lot to us, especially since we got the studio going still and paying for everything there, and the staff's still working. We're still running, trucking along, just like everybody. Not complaining. Very thankful, to be quite honest with you. Very thankful that we're able to do this live stuff from the house. It's beautiful. All right, so there we go. So now what we want to do, we want to curl that knuckle. Then what you want to do is this, is you want to pick through the chords slowly. And you want to listen, and you want to observe and focus. Well, that one doesn't sound right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna feel, I'm listening, I can hear it's not right, it's muted. I can feel that first string being muted underneath my first finger because it's laying on it a little bit. So what I need to do is I need to curl that knuckle just a little bit more, and usually all the knuckles curl at once, and then that'll make it. And that's what you wanna do. So remember that the first thing, thank you, Gray Beard, I'm bringing my stick with strings. Beautiful, thanks, One Running Buffalo, appreciate it, very kind. So remember, before we can establish a habit or a change in our life, we first need to recognize it, okay? An addict doesn't make a change until the day they say, oh my gosh, I'm addicted, right? This can be compared to anything. You won't make a change until you see that there's an issue, because there's nothing wrong. If you go your life living a certain way and there's an issue but you don't know it's an issue, it might as well not be an issue because you don't know it is. So the first thing is to recognize that there's an issue. And so when you're playing your chord and you are picking through it and you're like, well, this sounds good, that sounds good, that sounds good, that sounds good, that sounds good, but that doesn't sound good. This is one area of my life or my playing that needs some attention. So you observe it and you first notice it. Well, congratulations, because that is the beginning of your change, or it can be the beginning of your change. It's a portal for you. The second you notice that there's a problem, you can change that thing. And there it is. Okay, so now I've noticed it. If I didn't notice it before, there was no door to walk through. Now I notice it, and I say, okay, there's a problem there. Now how can I do that? What did Eric say? Okay, he said, play close up to the fret. I'm doing that. Thumb behind the back of the neck, behind the back of the neck. Here I am again. Let's do that, okay? I'm doing that, okay? But still, I'm getting that muting sound. Well, what other thing did he say? Oh yeah, curl that knuckle. Oh, hey, that worked. Boom, you get a little endorphin strike, right? A little hit of endorphin, right? Which is kind of like a drug. It makes you feel good. It's the love drug, right? It's the stuff that when you have that aha moment, you get a hit of endorphin. And so that's what's happening when you go, oh, boom, that was it. And that's a little reward from the universe, if you will, to go, okay, I'm gonna do that again, and then you go to practice it again. The second time it's easier, third time it's even easier, fourth time it's easier, fifth time, sixth time. Now it just becomes part of you. So when I go to grab a C chord, before I even play it, I know that all 5 notes are gonna sound out perfectly because I know how that chord should feel. I know right away if I'm holding it like this, which looks the same to you, I know I'm muting at least 3 notes. Right? At least 3 notes there. So now I know this one's gonna sound great because I know how it should feel because I built the habit, and that's the only reason. It's because I built the habit, and you can build the same habit. Okay, Gene Zackerman, thanks so much for the kind donation. Thank you, bud. Texan 11, thank you. I think he tried to donate but just typed it on the screen. Texan, if you want to donate, bottom left hand corner of the screen there is a little like basically it's like a little icon next to the smiley face. It's a dollar symbol. If you click that, that will, if you do want to donate, that's how to donate. Thank you so much for that. Okay, now the next question is probably for you, is bless you, wife. The next question is you're probably saying to yourself, well now, but how do I go from one chord to the next? And I'm so glad you asked that because that's probably the next thing that that you need to do, right? Thank you, Gregory. I'll tell her, bless her. So what you need to do is this. Think about, you have a couple rocks that you're crossing, or several rocks that you're crossing a little stream, if you will. You're gonna be on one rock, and you're going, before you jump off the one rock onto the next rock, you're gonna size up where it is that you're gonna go. That would be the prudent thing to do. What's my next step? Or planning anything. If you're leaving a job, what's the next job? You don't wanna quit the job and then just be like sitting in the air and be like, well, I don't have a job now. You kinda wanna plan things out a little bit, okay? So, what you want to do is you want to think about whatever chord you're on. You want to think about the next chord. You want to think about each finger, where it's going to go. This is all thinking. You're not actually doing yet, okay? This is all envisioning, okay? By the way, this can be related to anything, not just chords. It can be related to anything in your life. If you can envision yourself doing something, that's the portal. That's where it begins of wherever it is that you want to go. If you want to be thinner, if you want to be more successful or have more money or be better with your family or have a nicer guitar or whatever. It always starts with a thought, okay? And then your mind starts figuring out how to make that happen. We put up the quote yesterday, right? When you desire something, when you want something, the universe conspires, plans, right? Has a plan for you, conspires that you get it, basically. It conspires on your behalf. Paulo Coelho, I think his name is, from The Alchemist. What a great book. Anyhow, so you've got to be able to envision this first, even on the smallest scale. If you get good at this on the guitar, you can literally apply this to any place in your life. That's why the guitar has saved my life on many ways. Many times throughout my life. So I'm on one chord, I'm thinking about the next chord, but I don't move to it until I think about it fully, and I know where each finger's gonna go. When I do that, the chances of me grabbing that chord go up greatly. This isn't made up. This is just truth, okay? This is like, I could break it down for you if you don't believe me, but I imagine most of you are smart enough to understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so you got on one chord, you're thinking about the next chord, and then you, only until you think about it first do you go there. We do this all the time when we get in the car. We don't just randomly get in the car and then start driving and end up someplace. Oh, look, I'm at the supermarket. I think I'll get groceries. No, you get in the car because you're thinking about getting the groceries. This is no different. We're just thinking about it a little bit ahead of time, okay? This is a C chord, by the way, John, and this is an A. Okay, so I'm just thinking about those things before I get to it. Now later on it becomes part of your nature. It just becomes part of your anatomy, if you will, and there's nothing too much to think about, okay? All right, good. Questions on that? What kind of questions you got? Let's dig into them, shall we? And Alex, we will get to bar chords at the noon o'clock. So in about a half hour, we're gonna get to that, okay? I promise you. Do necks come in different widths with wider necks for fat fingers? Doug, a very little bit, but Doug, it has less to do, only people that say that are folks who are new players. Steven, thank you so much again for the donation. Keep it up, I will. You always come through with a donation. It's really kind. Thank you, Steven. Doug, this is good news. The only people that say this are beginners. They say my fingers are too fat. Well, your anatomy probably isn't going to change too much as you become a better player. But I've seen some great jazz players. I don't know what jazz players, but I've seen rock players and blues players. Big dudes, man, big dudes, fat fingers, fat hands, and they're playing great. So you will think that it's your anatomy, but it's really not your anatomy. Watch this video that's going to drop tomorrow, everybody. Is it dropping tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow's Saturday. Today's Friday. We're going to drop it tomorrow, okay? Right after the live broadcast at 1:15, we're going to premiere it, okay? I hope I'm getting that right. Yes, it is Friday today. I will drop it tomorrow. 1:15, we're going to do a premiere. You guys are going to see this, okay? And so it doesn't have to do, don't worry about your fingers is what I'm saying. Just, you got to trust me on it. Don't worry about your fingers. It's not your fingers. It's your technique that you haven't developed yet. That's all. How important is it to practice playing without looking at the fretboard? It's not important at all unless you don't want to look at the fretboard. But all the pros look at the fretboard. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Okay? So don't worry about that. This is a 1969, and I love this guitar so much. This guitar, I eyed it for a year, sitting up on the shelf at King B Guitars, which is like literally a guitar shop out in the sticks. And when you walk into the store, there's like 0 to 1 person in there. There's like no one in there. It's usually some guy who's talking with the owners, like some old timer or whatever. He had this guitar sitting on the shelf, and I said, I like that guitar. Tell me about that guitar. He said, it's a 1969 Gibson that was owned by Lita Ford and Joan Jett from the Runaways, the rock group, I was going to say the Christian rock group. They were not Christian rock group. They were a lady rock group, though. Very promiscuous lady rock group. And they owned this guitar. That's what the story is. But even if they didn't, I don't know, it cost $3,000, which I stole it for that much. And I was very appreciative to the guy who sold it to me. And I love this guitar, man. This is one of my favorites, this SG. It rocks. It's so cool. All right. How can I start at the beginning of this challenge? Brandon saying, Brandon, you do not have to go through these live lessons if you don't want. It's helpful, right? So we have a day 1 and a day 2 and day 3. You can just search that, YourGuitarSage day 1, YourGuitarSage day 2, etc., etc. But the easiest way to get involved with this is go to the first link that's right below this video, download that PDF, then go to the second link and get UGS Standard. It's free. And you can walk through that step by step. You don't have to do these live bits with you, but I'm here for you if you need to, okay? That's how to get started with it. Texian11, thank you so much for the donation, my friend. You did it right. I meant this for you as the link was a $10 multimeter, but hey, I got a check yesterday and the Sage is worth it. Ah, thank you, Texian. That's so kind. Jennifer C., thank you so much for the donation. Super duper kind. Lots of donations coming in. I saw somebody else. Oh, Clint. Clint, thank you, bud. How's it going? It's going great. It's going really good. Thank you, Clint. Super kind. And Subskip, so appreciative. Gary Newman put out an acoustic video last week showing his lack of confidence and sore fingers. Even the legends are human. Let's keep going. You mean Gary Newman like in Cars? Because Gary Newman might have been one of the very first artists that I latched onto as a kid. Maybe I was like 8 or 9 when I heard Gary Newman and Cars, and I latched onto that album, and it was all synth. It was like 3 synth players and a synth drummer. It was so 80s. It was crazy. And actually it was 70s. I think that came out like late 70s. Yeah, well, it had to, because I would have just been a little tyke. But they were real cutting edge there. Phil, thanks so much for the flying avocado and the $10 donation, bud. Super kind. Subskip, let me know if that's the Gary Newman you're talking about. Put out an acoustic video. I loved that guy, man. He was so cool. Yeah. Yes, and if you would, all caps. I know that sounds like you're shouting here, but I like that because I can see it a lot easier. All caps and a question mark. This way I'll know you're talking to me and not talking amongst each other there, okay? Sir, is it okay to strum with 2 fingers sometimes? Sure. No one's going to die, but you're not going to get the best sound from your guitar either. And that's probably the answer you're looking for. Are you going to get a good sound from it? No, not so much. It's not going to resonate so much. So get to using a pick. I teach this to you in the free program. That's the second link below. Your YourGuitarSage Unstoppable Guitar System Standard. Okay? That I will teach you how to use a pick, how to get good at a pick. No one likes the pick at first, but I show you some tricks on how you will get familiar with the pick. It's just like holding a fork or something. No kid wants to hold a fork. They want to eat with their hands. But once you put a fork in their hand and they get used to using it, then they grow up into adults, and we don't eat with our hands so much anymore. We eat with a fork because it's more convenient. We don't get our hands dirty and that sort of thing. Make sense? Al is saying, is your course really free? It seems it's $1 for 30 days and then charges to start. Al, there is that option, but that gets you into the 1,000+ videos. There is a course that's absolutely free. It's Your YourGuitarSage Unstoppable Guitar System Standard. So when you click that link, there's lots of options for you, but the upper left-hand corner is the free one. So it really is for free. I've had over 500,000 people get into our free courses. Over 500,000. What? Okay, so it's 100% for free. If you want the $1 trial, you can do that as well. We have tons of folks that are doing that every single day because they understand its worth, okay? But yes, 100% free. I have very skinny fingers with large knuckles, rough on bar chords. And that's only because of practice. You will get it. I promise you. You will get it. It just takes practice. Go through that course. You're not going to mess up. In fact, if anybody has gone through those first 30 lessons and you have a testimony or you have something you can say about it, just start it with the number 30 so people can, so that their eye will go to it. Just say 30 and, dude, I learned blank on this. It was awesome. I learned how to play my chords, or I learned how to play a song, my very first song, or I learned how to transition chords, or I learned how to hold my pick, or whatever. So just put the number 30 and then what it is that you learned so that folks know what I'm talking about here, because it's the real deal, man. You're going to learn some great stuff in there, I promise. Okay, good. If a singer can sing on a song in G-sharp scale and the original one does not anyhow have G-sharp in it, then how will I arrange the song for him or her? I don't know what that means, Rafid. You're going to have to refine that question because, and I know that it's probably not your first language, and I understand that. I apologize. I don't understand what you're asking there, but if you phrase it right, I'll be able to answer it. What about Django Reinhardt? What about two-fingered Django Reinhardt, right? Amazing jazz player of the 30s or 40s, could play with all 4 fingers. Then he was involved in a fire saving his wife, and these 2 fingers curled up, somehow got messed up in a fire, and he could only use fingers 1 and 2. This guy could play faster with 2 fingers than I could play with 4 fingers. He was absolutely amazing. Lee Giusti, thank you so much. And I've never seen this icon. It's like a little hippo in a swivel chair spinning around. How cool is that? I've only seen the avocado. Thank you so much for this, Lee. You've blessed me twice. One with a donation, and one, of course, with my favorite, which is a hippo in a spinning chair, in a spinning office chair. Who doesn't love that, right? What makes a guitar an SG? So guitars have names so that you can differentiate them from one another, right? In this case here, an SG, I think, which stood for solid guitar. I'm pretty sure that's what it stood for. That's what they named this after it was first called the Les Paul. So a little bit of trivia is the Les Paul as we know it, which you probably are familiar with, the guitar that Slash uses a lot from Guns N' Roses. That was the Les Paul. And then in 1960, I think they stopped production of that style Les Paul, and then they started making this Les Paul. Oh, thanks so much for confirming that for me, Rob. Yeah, SG, solid guitar. So then they started making this guitar, and they called it the Les Paul. because the other Les Paul wasn't selling. No one was buying it, so they stopped production on it. What? Now it's like the most famous guitar ever, right? Might be. And so Les Paul, the guy that created the Les Paul, said, I don't like that. I hate that guitar. He didn't like it, I think. I'm pretty sure. And so he said, I need to change the name. He also was going through a divorce, I think, with Mary Ford, who was a big fan of the SG. And so I think they were going through a divorce, and there was somehow she wouldn't get all of his money for that as well. So something like that. Yes. Interesting, right? All right. Oh, thank you so much. 30. It's awesome. I learned a lot while I didn't know. I had played around for years, but the way he teaches is so well-rounded, I could even list all the little things I learned first. Good. Beautiful. Thank you so much for folks that did say this 30 and then what it is that you learned in there, because that helps other people know what is going on, what they're going to learn there, that it's a real thing, that I would have to be pretty demented to be able to hire all these people to be saying all these testimonies, or it really exists and it really is free and you really will learn a ton and you will really be thankful. So do that, okay? Get in the second link below. It's going to get you there. Doug from Canada, thanks so much for the kind donation, bud. Thanks, Eric. Always learning through you. Beautiful. Thanks, Doug. That makes me happy. I really do appreciate when I hear those things, because it's rocket fuel for me, because it lets me know I'm not crazy, because I think sometimes I'm crazy because maybe I am a little bit, and so it helps me to know that you're actually learning something even though I'm a little bit crazy. Thank you. Could you give a pointer using the whammy on the guitar? There's not much to think about, Mark. It's just an expressive tool. It's like a paintbrush, right? So, you know, we use the whammy bar when we want to do stuff like so we can, you know, we just grab the bar and it changes the pitch. I could also go with my finger up here, but the whammy bar can be used for such things, you know, but it's just an expressive tool, okay? Paul, beautiful, thanks so much. Oh, look, dude, we're getting some new icons. I love that. That must be something new here. I got a black cat, because I got 3 black cats. Thank you, Paul. Super kind, bro. Lee, thank you. Thanks for all the vet followers. Beautiful. Thank you, Lee. Super kind, friend. Good read. Okay. Good read. The Birth of Loud. How Les Paul and Leo Fender changed the world of music. And they did, indeed. Yeah. All right. Beautiful. And if I end up going over that noon mark where we're supposed to get into the bar chords, let me know. Okay, I don't mind if you guys let me know, or if I fall off subject. You know, I'm here for you guys, and sometimes I can fall off the subject. So you let me know. I'm here for you. On which fret should I put the capo to make it easier to press on the strings in the beginning? Carol's asking. Carol, if you put it on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, even up to maybe the 7th fret, it's going to do what you're looking for it to do. If you put it much beyond that, it's really not going to press. It's still going to press down the strings, but not as well if it were a little bit closer towards down here towards the nut. The 3rd or 5th fret would probably be the best place to do that if you really want to make it easy. Which, by the way, friends, if you're new to chords, this is a nice little trick, and I'm so glad that you mentioned this because, Carol, this will help folks. So if you have a capo and you're new to bar chords, which we're going to talk about later, or just new to chords and you need help playing chords, this is very encouraging to use your capo, because if you put it down, it automatically, you can see the strings go down a bit. It's pressing them down. Now your chords are going to be so much easier to play. Now, we're not going to use this all the time, but what it will do is it'll allow you to play those chords, to get that endorphin drip, where you go, oh, I am playing the chord, yay, even though I've got a little bit of a crutch here, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, right? A baby, when he's learning to walk, will grab the walls and everything else. No one's like, hey, not fair, baby. I don't do that. No one says that except some jerk, right? A baby, let him use the side of the table or something to get up. use the capo to press your strings down. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? And then eventually you're going to get better at it and you're going to be able to not do that. Anybody else saying anything otherwise is just speaking out of their ego, and don't listen to people like that. They're going to waste your time and energy. Okay? But I do see teachers say stuff like that. They're like, you just need to man up and just, yeah, you know who says that? People that have been playing for a long time. Just calm down there, Mr. Big. Put the capo on the guitar and let your student feel that adrenaline. Let them feel that, not adrenaline, but let them feel that endorphin of being successful, and that will empower them to do more. I've seen this a million times, okay? I do it with my students. Keep on rocking, teaching. Oh, beautiful, Jim. Thank you. Super kind, bud. Jesse's saying Eric is a no-nonsense type of teacher and does not plagiarize techniques, tools, and tips like other teachers' programs do. Some instructors act like they have new, powerful tips and techniques. Thank you so much, Jesse. So yeah, no, I won't say that something's mine now. There are things that I've done where I haven't seen somebody teach them, and maybe I'll come up with like a name for it, but I'll specifically say that. I'm like, I don't know what other people call this, but I call it chord noodling. Or I don't know what people call this, but I call it the springboard technique. So we have an asset, something that we can move around and say, you know, the springboard technique, it does this. And you're like, oh yeah, I know that. Or let me go look up springboards and I'll figure that out. So I do that a lot. But you know, nothing's new under the sun when it comes to the guitar. Every now and then someone might, you know, enlighten you on something, and that's what I try to do. Okay. But thank you so much for saying that, Jesse. Really kind, bud. Okay. MSG, did I look into some Nick Drake? No, I haven't. I opened up the page, but I have not listened to him yet. And obviously, I can't listen to him on this broadcast. But I'm pulling it up again here. You said Pink Moon, right? Yeah, I'm pulling that up. So I will listen to that. I promise you. It looks like an interesting character for sure. What's a good song to learn? Kitty Army is saying. Kitty, I don't know what you like. So on YouTube, search YourGuitarSage and then your favorite artist. If it's Elvis, search YourGuitarSage Elvis. Beatles, search YourGuitarSage Beatles. That's the quickest way to find what you're looking for if you like the way that I teach. If you don't, then just don't do that. I wish you could tell us where you get your life theory and theory about stuff going on. Gene's asking. Gene, I don't watch mainstream stuff. Number one, that's the first thing I do is I turn off anything that's mainstream, anything that's handed to you where someone knocks on your door and says, I have a special deal for you. What I've learned in life is that typically when people are up in your face about, hey, you need to know this, hey, I got a special thing for you, and that sort of thing, when people are really up in your face about it, there's typically some reason that they're doing that. So what I've found is that truth or information that will lead you to truth or what have you is typically under the radar, and you have to do some digging for it. So there's a ton of people that I follow, like Tony Robbins, like Joe Dispenza, like Sadhguru, Sadhguru. I think he's an Indian guru. He's amazing, super smart, super wise dude. Sadhguru is one. Infinite Waters on YouTube is another one. I love that guy. Ralph Smart, Aaron Doty. Oh gosh, there's so many folks. Bob Proctor. I listen to a lot of, I try to reprogram myself all the time. Friends, this is so powerful, just reprogramming your mind. Number one, Michael, thank you so much for the donation here, bud. GM San Diego, been before. Do you like about SG Strat? SG over Strat. I'm 64. Thank you for all you do for vets. 30 days. Wow, what an awesome journey, taking 2 new levels. Beautiful. Thank you, Michael. The SG is just a cool rocking guitar. I love this guitar. It's just a rocker, whereas the SG is more of my like blues guitar and clean tones and stuff like this. When I rock out with my socks out, this is the one that I grab. Okay. But yeah, so you know, when I'm talking about reprogramming the mind, it's the same thing that we're doing here with the guitar. We're reprogramming ourselves. We're creating new habits, rewiring our brain, that sort of thing. And it literally just has to do with the information that you're receiving. I saw Tony Robbins say something pretty interesting the other day. He said, even if you think you're not watching the news and you're just, oh, I'm just watching it passively, every bit of information, every bit of misinformation, every lie, every possible truth, all that stuff, you've got to fight and determine, was this true? Is it not true? Now it's in your brain, and it takes up a lot of energy, a lot of mental energy, okay? It takes physical energy, burns calories. This is all energy that you could be pouring in back into yourself, into your meditation, into your child, into your pet, into your guitar, into good habits and what have you. It's all about reprogramming the mind, and you can do this. If you don't think that you've been programmed and brainwashed, then that is further proof that you've been massively brainwashed. We all have, either purposely or not purposely, but just you get programmed over time, being told, oh, you have ADHD, you've got arthritis, you've got this, you've got to just stay there, you're that kind of person. It's like, no. So if you can get above that noise, get beyond that noise, I say get under that noise, and start following some of these people, you will find a rabbit hole of other people to grab onto where they have great energy, great great mindset and what have you. Some folks, they don't believe in this. They say, oh, that's positive thinking, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, it is positive thinking. Of course it is. What do you want to follow, negative thinking? But I'm shit. I can't play guitar. I'm going to be fat all my life. I'm an alcoholic. I suck. I'm terrible. I imagine sometimes you got to say, I know alcoholics, right? They have to do that whole addict thing. I'm an addict because they've got to get to that point where it hurts enough to move on, and I get that. But I guess what I'm saying is, if you're programming yourselves with negativity all the time, then that will be your fruit. It's real simple. I'm going to move on to guitar here in just a second. Tommy's saying, what happened to the guitar lesson? I'm on it, but this applies to it, Tommy. It really does. I promise you, it applies to it. If you can find a path that's going to help you in whatever it is that you're doing on guitar, you know, whatever it is that you're doing with your mind, reprogramming your mind is the way to do it. Okay? What age is too late? Alex, there is no age that's too late to play guitar. There's not. Okay? I promise you. I have folks that are starting in their 80s inside of the Unstoppable. No, in their 90s. I've had folks that have started in their 90s in the Unstoppable guitar system. And they'll say it. I'm in my 70s, I'm in my 80s, I'm in my 90s. If you're in UGS and you're any one of those ages, 70s, 80s, 90s, please say something here so other folks will know. Am I Catholic? No, but I was, and I was an altar boy too growing up. Yeah, I was Catholic. I love some things about the Catholic Church, like the imagery and I love the imagery and what have you. But yeah, I was an altar boy. Okay, good. I lost my train of thought. Somebody was saying something. Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah, so mentioned your age, 73, 70s, 76, 61, 70. And here's the deal. I always know someone young. I always know it's someone young saying, am I too old? Or am I too old? It's always somebody young who's saying that. By the way, there's 670 folks in here because you guys are sharing this. Thank you, and because you're liking this. I really appreciate it. Jay Ullman saying, your videos are the best I've found. Thank you for all you do. Yay, Jay, thank you. That means a lot to me. It really, truly does. Thank you. So I always find that it's the younger people saying that, am I too old? It's never the folks that are in their 70s, 80s, and 90s because they've already learned these lessons in life that age is a number, man. It doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. They've determined now that your age has to do with your telomere length, which has to do with your DNA. It's like a little tail that's on your DNA. And so you can actually make those telomere lengths longer through eating right, through positive thinking, through meditation, etc. You can reverse your age. And what we mean by not age is in time, because time has nothing to do with it. It's just that we associate it with growing old because it's usually a byproduct of that, but it doesn't have to be. That's why you could be 70 years old and lengthen your telomere length, which in the realm of not time, but in the realm of actual how old you are, that's really what determines how old you are and how resilient you are and everything else. It's your telomere length. Do a little searching on it. I can't talk about it much because I'm not that knowledgeable about it. Age is a state of mind. Okay. 16, I'm too old. Corey. Exactly. Okay, beautiful. 7 minutes. We're going to go into our advanced lesson on bar chords. 7 minutes, okay? Get ready for it. 671 champs in here learning about guitar. I love it. Thanks for sharing this, friends. If you haven't already, subscribe too. All right, more questions. It is human nature to get discouraged and give up. And I think it may just be, I think it may be not even just human nature, but I think it's the nature of beings to give up, right? It happens. It happens with animals. It happens with human animal. It happens with dog animals. It happens with all. But we want to hang on to hope because hope is what gets us through things. It makes us strong. So yeah, lean into that, man. Can you give an example of a hammer-on? Yeah. So a hammer-on is when we pick a note and then we hammer with our finger like this. Okay? We don't pick the second note. And then we can do a series of hammer-ons and pull-offs. Right? So this is something that no one gets at first. 0 people get this at first. So if you have issues with it, then you're like the other 10 million bazillion people who have started to play guitar and had an issue with it. It's not you, but you do. But now that you know it's just practice, okay? Ooh, Jimmy Upton is lit. Hope dies last. I love that. Yeah, exactly. Take small bites. Listen, these people in here are lit, man. This is a lit bunch right here. So you want to follow some winners? Listen to these folks in here. They'll tell you. Graybeard, you speak from your heart. Am I Graybeard? I guess my beard is gray. Am I Graybeard or is there somebody called Graybeard in here? Let me know. Let me know. Another donation, DB Lovecraft. Thank you, friend. So kind. And that is a partying, I'm assuming, it's an avocado, man. I'm going with avocado. Or no, it could be an eggplant. Anybody know? It's going to plague me now. It's going to keep me up at night. Okay. When I pull off with my pinky, it makes my ring finger make the note sharp. Yes, Don, common problem. Everybody runs into this. I did too. The reason being is that you're pulling on the string, but you want to pull on the string. And as you get better at this, as your technique gets better, you won't pull on the string as much because your technique's going to be better and it's going to sound better. Just keep practicing. I promise you're going to get it, okay? I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. It's only practice. Oh, it's a pear. It's a pear? Oh, that makes sense. Because if you think about an avocado, is an avocado that happy? Number one, avocados are one of my favorite foods. I'm not knocking you, avocado. I love avocados. Full of great fat, saturated fat, by the way, which, oh, by the way, the scientists are now like, it's good for you. Saturated fat's good for you. It has saturated fat in it, just like avocado. Super healthy for you, but that makes more sense that the pear is partying because a pear is like bright and tasty and sweet tasting and what have you. It makes way more sense that it's a pear. Thank you, everybody, for revealing that to me. An avocado pear. What is pulling off the pinky? Pulling off. What we're talking about is a pull off. It's called a pull off. So it's when you pick a note and then you pull your finger off. And so it's a technique that if you do that many times, it creates a legato technique, okay? I covered this inside of the Unstoppable Guitar System. Oh, thank you, Runnin' Buffalo. I call you Graybeard because you speak truth. Thank you, Runnin' Buffalo. Graybeard. That's fun. Thank you, buddy. Thank you very much. That means a lot. Here, just starting off, and it seems you just get right into chords. Should I be learning first notes, or am I missing something? The Mush, 7474. That means you are not inside the Unstoppable Guitar System, because I definitely don't get right into chords. I did today because guess what? The Mush, 7474, which I've never seen you in here before. So welcome, my friend. But that also means you haven't been here. So we're on day 17 of the Unstoppable Guitar System. So here's what I want you to do. First link below, get in there and get this PDF, and then take the second link below and get in the Unstoppable Guitar System Standard. Okay? That's why you're missing something. It's because you're not in the free course that I'm giving you guys today. Otherwise, yes, I definitely don't start anybody off at chords. I would never do that to you. That would be terrible to do to you. I would never do that to you. Don't start off with just chords, for sure, okay? Oh, listen to this. There was a point in my life I was living out of a car. Sometimes you have to control your own destiny. Yep, and there was a time in my life where I was, had thoughts, at least thoughts of suicide. I never attempted it, but I just thought, I don't want to be here anymore. So I've definitely had thoughts of that way back, like in high school and stuff. Not a lot of people know that, actually. I don't even think I told my mom that, but it's true. I had that. Many years ago, maybe like 20 years ago or so, I went through a terrible divorce. It was terrible at the time. It's a beautiful thing now. I'm so thankful for it. I went through a bankruptcy. I lost my home and everything because of that divorce, fighting for my child, for custody and stuff like that. Lost absolutely everything. Every guitar that I own, I think I had one guitar maybe, and the shirt on my back, bankrupt, looking for a home because I lost my home. What do you do when you're bankrupt and you have zero credit and you're looking for a home? Well, no one wants to take you in. So literally, I was this close to being homeless. I suppose I could have moved in with my mom in Florida and left Nashville and stuff, but 100%, we all have stories like this. It's not just me, that's just my story. You have your story and all the terrible things that you went through, and guess what? We get to choose our destiny. So, what about the guitar lesson? Shut your mouth, Sage. I want to hear about guitar. I want to hear about positivity, bull crap. Shut up and play your guitar. All right, I will. All right. Okay, friends, here we go. Clem, what, boy? That's my boy. That's my boy. Hey, Clem P, thanks so much for the donation. 47 and been playing for 2 years. I also thought I couldn't learn because I wasn't musical. It's all a lie. Eric is right. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. I notice when I don't play. Thank you so much, Clem. Beautiful. And I love when other people say it because, you know, when it comes from the guitar teacher, they think, oh, he's trying to sell a course, a free course, and 1,300 free videos on YouTube. I still don't get that one. What am I selling there? Of course I have a course you can pay for so I can keep lights on and do this and spend time with my family and teach you. So of course I have stuff to sell. Don't you? You work for free? No? You don't work for free? Okay, neither do I. So of course I have got courses and books like that. I want to help people out, and then I also have premium stuff. And this lets me pay my crew and editors and all the rest. Cool? You got it? Yeah? Are we together on this? Come on. Fist bump. All right, so here we go, friends. This is the advanced part of the lesson here. It is noon, and as per promise, 2 hours live every single day during the month of April. 11 to 12 is a beginner lesson. From 12 to 1 is the advanced lesson. That's what we're getting to now. And please, friends, if you're joining us for the advanced lesson and you haven't done it before, the very first link below this video right now is the PDF that's going to give you our syllabi, right? Our syllabus for today and for the rest of the month. For beginner and advanced lesson. I also have some other free information in there, some other things that I do for my life to improve my life that it has massively improved my life, and I have resources for you in that PDF. So if you want that as well, it's all in that PDF for you. The second link below is how to get into the Unstoppable Guitar System. Unstoppable Guitar System Standard is 100% free for you today. It's the top 30 lessons I teach all my students. It will massively build your foundation. It will make you an amazing player. And if I never see you again in my life, that will make me sad because I do want to see you. But literally, you could take those 30 plus lessons and become an amazing player, really build a solid foundation, and watch anybody's videos on YouTube and be amazing, okay? 685 folks in here right now. Beautiful. Folks are pouring in for this advanced lesson right now, so I love that. Oh, by the way, friends, if you haven't already, hey, Spider-Man, how you doing, buddy? My kid's walking by right. Oh, Iron Man. He's got Iron Man mask on and a lightsaber. My in-laws have just showed up for a little social distancing visit from the grandparents. I love it. So number one, yes, here we go. We're starting with the lesson. If you have not already, please like this video. If you have, please don't like it again because you'll undo it. Okay, and subscribe if you dig what we're doing here. That'd be cool. Love for you to subscribe. Friends, we are 20 people away from being in our 700 mark. We're 14 people away from being at our 700 mark, and we've never done that before on these weekly live broadcasts. So if you can share this, please, that would be so cool for you to be a part of the YGS history of actually hitting 700 people in the broadcast. That would be so cool if that was because of your doing. Okay, so you subscribed, you liked, and then also share the video, as I just said. Okay, beautiful. If you want to donate, the bottom left-hand corner next to the smiley face is a dollar symbol, and that's how you can donate. Not asking for that, but if you can, that'd be great. 691 folks, because you guys are sharing. We're 9 people away. Come on, we're almost there. Come on. Oh my God. Hey, someone hit me up if we go. I can't keep an eye on that, but hit me when we go to 700 on here. Just say, everybody say 700, okay? Because I want to see it. That'd be so cool. That'd make my day. That'd make my day. Okay, here we go. Here we go. The 17th, we're talking about bar chords. You ready to do this? Sure you are. Here we go. 692, we're 8 away. Oh, what? Come on, let's do it. Let's do it, you sky freaks. You guitar freaks. Here we go. All right. Now, let's talk about bar chords. The great thing about bar chords is this, and don't be scared of bar chords. Every single person who has ever started to play guitar sucked at bar chords at first. Every single person, from Jimi Hendrix to Eddie Van Halen to Joe Pass to Jimmy Page. It doesn't matter who it is, they sucked at first, okay? We're 8 away from 700. I'm sorry, now I'm obsessed. Everybody started off not being good at this, okay? Everybody. So, if you're not good at this, that means you're right next to Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Page, B.B. King, everybody who's also sucked at bar chords. The only way to get good at bar chords is to practice. Now, with that being said, there are some things that I can teach you that I'm going to show you right now, which are going to help you to play bar chords. It's going to help you get over this hump. I have a step-by-step method that I'm giving you for free today here, along with about 3 or 4 other free videos on YouTube. Write these down right now, or mark in the video here. Just do something so that you remember, because after this, you're going to want to watch these, okay? Here are the videos. You ready? Effing F chord. E-F-F-I-N-G. Search that. Effing F chord. Not right now, but later. Effing F chord. YourGuitarSage bar chords. Between those 2 searches, you're probably going to find at least 4 videos that are absolutely going to help you with this. We're 4 away from 700. Come on, let's get over the edge. Oh, we're 3 away. What? This is amazing. I'm going to be so excited. I'm going to do a dance. I'm going to do a jig when we go over. Oh, we're 1 away. 1 away. Come on, do it. One more person jump in there. I don't know why that freaks me out, but oh, we're at 706. What? Yeah. I wish we had confetti. Whoop did it do? I'm doing a jig. I'm doing a jig. I love that. 705. Beautiful. You guys rule. Thank you, 100. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's so kind. Beautiful. All right. So now I can concentrate on the bar chords, all right? So I have those videos for you, right? You've got to watch those videos after if you have issues with bar chords. Now, what's the big freaking deal about bar chords, Eric? Let me tell you. I start you off with the basic fretting. Then we go to the 9 essential chords. That's kind of our next step, because why? Because if you know how to use a capo, which I also teach you inside of the program. Thank you so much, my friend, for the donation, Adrian. 10, I know that's Russian money, right? And I don't know what that's called. I am so sorry. But yes, thank you so much for that. That's really kind, friend. So I teach you those bar chords, and then how to use the capo, the 9 essential chords, because literally in the key of C or the key of G, you can play millions of songs. you're never going to need to play millions of songs. Thousands of songs for sure, and hundreds of songs, it's just not even a question. It's so easy. With the capo, if you know those basic open chords, okay, which I teach you, the 9 essential chords, right? But now, what about bar chords? Bar chords do this. They open you up to a whole new world of possibilities. The open chords and using the capo are great. We want that first. But then we want to graduate to bar chords in that order, okay? It's kind of like high school and then college, if you will. Bar chords or college, okay? And the reason being is that if you know this one form, this is F, okay? This is the F bar chord, which, by the way, comes from the E chord. Look at it. Look at the shape of the E chord. Imagine my first finger playing right here where the nut is, okay? I don't have to because the nut's taking care of that, okay? Everything okay?
Yeah, sorry about that.
All right, don't worry about it. My wife came in and gave me a real strange look, like something was bad. Okay, so this is an E chord. Now imagine my first finger here. This is first you got to understand this conceptually, right? So here's my E chord, but then if I put my first finger down and I bump it up, it becomes an F chord. So let's talk about something here really quickly. Anything that you do in the open position, be that a bar chord or a lick, we can play that any place, all over the neck. So anything you do in the open position, you can do further up the neck. This is what makes the guitar so amazingly powerful. The piano doesn't do this, okay? Stringed instruments do this, where you can replicate licks and what have you in all the different keys, and you don't have to sit there and memorize all the different keys. Super powerful. That being said, we can take any bar, any open chord, or any open lick and move it up further up the neck. So there's two things about bar chords we have to understand. What the hell's going on out there? They're coming for me. Two things we need to understand. Conceptually understanding how something works. Rick, thank you so much for the donation, buddy. I'm gonna do it. I'm working my biceps out. Conceptually understanding something, okay? That's the first thing. The second thing is physically being able to understand, or physically being able to play it. You've got to have both. You're gonna probably understand it before you can actually physically do it. That's okay. Compartmentalize, just understand this is something we need to work on later. Let's talk about conceptually understanding the idea of bar chords first, and then I'm gonna show you some tricks to physically doing this. Friends, we're up to 717 folks in here. Thank you so much for liking this video and for sharing it. It's because of you. 721, somebody's saying. Beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It really means a lot to me, truly. And it means a lot to other people who we're sharing this with, that they get to be part of this. So it's because of you. Thank you, okay? Conceptually, let's understand it, and then let's work on the specific techniques. Because the specific techniques, I know you still don't believe that you can do bar chords. I know. It's okay. I'm going to walk you through it, because just like a child, listen, a baby, the best BMX motorcycle, or motocross person in the world, doing the X Games, where they go up, I don't know how high they're going up in the air, what, like 50 feet, 70 feet? They go up these ramps and they go way up in the air, and then they'll do like a handstand on their bike, like freaking, I don't know how high they are. Watch these extreme X Games things. It's mind-numbing what these people do, number one. Okay, let's take that guy for a minute. Did he start off doing that? No, he didn't. What did he start doing? He started by doing smaller ramps, and then he started by doing no ramps, and then he started by just getting on a motorcycle, and then he went, before that, he probably had a mini bike, and before that, he had a bicycle, and before that, he had a tricycle, and before that, he was walking, and before that, he was crawling. Okay, and before that, he was on his tummy, or he was on his back, and he couldn't even roll over. Do you remember this? I don't, but I remember the progression with my baby, with my little guy, with both of my kids, and seeing those progressions, okay? So just remember, everything is step by step. We never just get this stuff like this. It never happens. Same thing is true with bar chords, or any technique that we're doing new. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you that step-by-step progression on how to play these, but let's get the concept first, okay? Think about this. Anything that we do in the open position can be moved up the neck. So what I like to do is, instead of playing my my chords with my first finger. For showing you this concept, what I like to do is I like to play it, instead of using fingers 1, 2, and 3, I free up my first finger and I play it with fingers 2, 3, and 4, so that I free up my first finger so that you can see that we're just moving things up and down the fretboard, just like if we were using the capo. If I use this, it's kind of like using my finger, okay? But it makes more sense to use your finger here because we're going to use our finger to do these bar chords. So watch. Here's an E major chord, but instead of playing it with fingers 1, 2, and 3, Andy, thank you so much for the donation. Flying pear, beautiful, so kind. Thanks, bud. Here's an E chord and playing it with fingers 1, 2, and 3, but let's play it with fingers 2, 3, and 1 to free up that first finger so we understand this concept. Anything that we move up, anything we do in the open position, we can move up the fretboard. So here's our E chord. Here's our first finger on the nut. It's not really doing anything because it's behind the nut right now, right? Let me get a little closer here for you. Here we go. Make sense? Here's my first finger. Now, if I want to move this up, we're just getting the concept right now. We're not trying to play this. Don't worry about playing it yet. So here I'm going to move this whole thing up. This is an F note. So now my E chord with the E bass note, because that's a low E string, now becomes an F chord. And then this becomes a F sharp. Anybody who has a light bulb moment, any aha moments, feel free to let me know there. Give me that light bulb icon or say light bulb moment, so because I want to know that I'm getting to you guys, that you guys are getting this, okay? Here's an F sharp because it's E, F, F sharp. And then a G. This is also a G, right? G, 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 G sharp, right? A. Ah, beautiful. I love it. Thank you, Alex. Aha moments. Beautiful. The light bulb's coming on. A chord, A chord, A chord. Right? Beautiful. Light bulb moments. Beautiful. Yay. A sharp, B, C. Listen to this. C, C. See how they sound real similar? Why don't they sound exact, Eric? Well, let me ask you this. If your mama makes some chili and then your grandma makes chili, is it going to taste the exact same? Nope. But it's going to both taste like chili. Makes sense, right? So this is why this and this sound real close but not exact, because the ingredients are a little different. The stacking of the notes, where they're being played, all the rest. Make sense? All right. Voyage, this is the party, man. You're at the party, bro. Welcome. Okay, so we can do this on anything. We can do this with the A, you know, any A or fifth string bass bar chord. So here we go. Here's A minor. Just doing this to get ready to move it up the fretboard. So A, we have A sharp, then we have B, then we have C, C sharp, and so on and so forth, okay? So do you get the concept? Anything that's done in the open position can be done further up the neck. So got the concept, right? Now we got that compartmentalized thing. Let's stick it over here. You guys are doing great, hanging in there. By the way, everything that we do on the guitar, we can compartmentalize like this, and we can get this stuff and move forward. If you don't, then it just seems like this giant thing, like, I got to go to law school? There's no way. Oh my gosh. Well, go to day 1 in law school, and then day 2, and then day 3, and what have you. If you think about life like that or anything, then you're going to be able to progress and be very successful. But if you don't, if you just look at it as the big thing, of course it's overwhelming. It would be overwhelming to anybody. 726 folks in here. That's amazing. Beautiful. Okay, so now that we got the concept, let me talk about this. Here is what I cover in the effing F chord. It goes like this. I say this all the time. If you're juggling with 3 balls and you're having a difficulty juggling with 3 balls, adding a 4th ball is going to help or hinder. I think you know the answer to that, right? If you took a big bite of a sandwich and you ate too much and you're getting ready to choke, will a bite of cookie help or more sub? Well, neither, right? You should get a smaller bite. Same thing here when we're talking about chords, but your esophagus and your desire to live is going to keep you from eating too big of a sandwich, but you're not going to mess anything up. No one's going to die if you try to do too much on guitar. And because of that, you try to do too much before you're ready. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't shoot for the stars. You should, but what would be more mature and honoring to the universe and yourself and everything else is to honor that first smaller step, and then the universe will present a medium-sized step for you. And if you honor that, then it says, this cat needs bigger stuff. He's a champ, she's a champ, let's give her bigger stuff. But it's never gonna honor you with medium-sized stuff if you don't honor the little stuff. And this goes for everything, okay? So we gotta honor the little stuff. So if you're juggling 3 balls and that's too difficult, adding a 4th's not gonna help, right? If you're juggling with 3 balls and it's too difficult, what do you think you might do? Yep, you got it. Take a ball away. Let's go 2. Let's make it simple. This is when I talk about slow it down, break it down, inventory breakdown method, and all these other things that I talk about to make things easier for you. If you do that, you can do that. You can kick it straight in the ass, okay? So this is what we're gonna do. We're take an F chord, right? Here we go. F chord, right? This, once you know how to do this, you can create all these great chords, okay? Now, instead of going to grab a 6-note chord right away, what I want you to do is I want you to do this. In that effing F chord video, we do double stops, 2-note chords. They're not really chords. Chords are 3 notes, right? But we're gonna call them chords or double stops. So what I do is I take that chord and I break it down to just strings 1 and 2. And I play that. Doesn't matter if you're finger picking or using your pick, doesn't matter. So 1 and 2. And then you're gonna do fingers or strings 2 and 3. Okay, then you're gonna do strings 3 and 4. Then you're gonna do strings 4 and 5. Then you're gonna go strings 5 and 6. Now, why are we doing that? We're doing that so that you can find out where your Achilles heel is. A chain is as strong as its weakest link. So when you go to play your chord and only one note's not sounding good, you get all pissed because your chord doesn't sound good. And it really has nothing to do with you being not good at something. It's that one little thing is bothering you. It's like walking around, you're perfectly healthy, but you got a pebble in your shoe and you're like, life sucks. Life doesn't suck. You got a pebble in your shoe, bro. Kick your shoe off and get the pebble out, okay? And that's the way to think about life, is the way to think about these chords, is that, you know, in this case here, if you do this and you hear this, okay, that sounds great, and then you hear, okay, that sounds great, and then you're like, great, that sounds great, and then you're like, uh-oh, what's going on here? And you're like, well, why doesn't that 5th string sound? Oh, I'm not pressing hard enough. I'm just kind of ignoring that finger. Okay. And then what happens is your brain takes a little note there that you were playing that note wrong, and then next time you won't do that, okay? This is how our brains work, right? We learn from this stuff. So you got that, and then strings 5 and 6. Okay, so let's say you get that down. The reason we're doing this building up slowly is that we can find out exactly where our Achilles heel is or exactly where our weak link is, and we can fix it ahead of time instead of not knowing what's wrong with it. What's wrong with it? I don't know what's wrong with my chord. I hear that all the time. Then once you do 2 notes, right, then you're going to do 3 notes. So now you're going to go, right? Then strings 2, 3, 4. Then 3, 4, 5. And then 4, 5, 6, okay? Once you do that, yay. This is as if you are going to school and you're in grade 2. Then you're in 3rd grade. Then you're in 4th grade, 4 notes at a time. Okay, cool, I'm playing that, Eric. Great, that's great, and then after you get all your 4s down, then go to the 5s. And then go to 6. Now this may take a day, it may take a week, it may take a month, I don't know. It depends on how much you practice. But here's why this works. Number 1 is it gives you the understanding of what it is that you need to work on. And it makes you focus on the thing that you need to work on, because you're gonna be like, oh, that booger, that's what's doing it. And then you fix your hand, right? And then now you're working on it. As opposed to just grabbing the chord and going, I'm frustrated, my chords suck, I suck at guitar, I was never built to play guitar, I'm gonna go watch TV. Don't do that, right? Number two, the second thing it does is it will give you that little endorphin hit that I'm talking about, where you're like, oh, aha moment. Eric's right. This is working. I'm doing this, right? Boom. And then that will encourage you to keep going. Okay, so this is how I do all my books, all my courses is to encourage you, and you get a carrot every single time. You get a cookie so that you're like, I am learning, I am moving forward, because you really will be, and you'll be able to physically see your progress. But if you don't get to physically see your progress, you're going to get really frustrated. If I go to the gym and I work out, and I expect that the very first day I should be working out, you know, lifting weights that are way too much and doing way too many reps and working out for an hour and a half, and then the next day I'm so beat up. And then I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh my God, I don't see any gains whatsoever. I look the same as I looked yesterday, but I'm hurting so bad. That's not going to be very encouraging for me to get back to the gym. But if I go to the gym and I do my initial workout, just kind of working my muscles out a little bit and feeling good, and then I get that endorphin hit, right, that endorphin rush, and then I go home and I go, man, I feel great. I'm gonna go back to the gym the next day. And I do it, and I feel good again. Now I'm lifting a little bit more weight. I'm able to last a little longer. Muscles not hurting as bad. And then I do this 3, 4, 5, 6 days, start building a habit. Then I start seeing the progress. Not only am I feeling great, but I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, hey, look at you, bro, looking good, right? Now I'm getting more endorphins, and it's encouraging. And this is how every habit can be established if you do it. There's make that a little reward system for you, okay? All right, me want cookie, Iggy says. Me too, I love cookies. All right, let's get to those questions. And by the way, if you want to know what those chords are, like what you could possibly do with this is how powerful. And I'm not going to go over each of the individual chords with you because I have a whole video on this. Search Your Guitar Sage bar chords. I have a 2-part series where I have a Fu Manchu mustache. Watch that, and it's like an old video. Its quality is terrible. But once you go through that video, you literally will add like 100 or 200 or 300 chords. I forgot how many it was. Well, here, we'll figure it out. But watch this. F chord. With the F chord, you can also play F minor 7, F7, major, minor 7, F7. We'll just go with the easy ones at first. That's 4, okay? And then we have minor, major, minor 7, and 7th. And we can do a major 7th in there. So that's 9 chords times 12 different keys, right? Just moving it up. F, F sharp, G, G sharp. That's 108 chords just right there that you immediately will have access to just because you're able to play bar chords. What? Yes, that's why I'm saying it's super powerful stuff. That's why you want to do it, okay? That's why you want to have it as a goal. It's okay if you don't have it today. You'll get it after you watch the effing F chord and all the rest, but now you know its power and why it is that we're obsessed with bar chords, okay? Scott, what up? Should you just practice? Thank you so much for the donation, Scott. Super kind, bro. Should you just practice one shape like E or A that are easier and then move to the ones like G and D bar shapes that seem impossible to me? No one uses the G shape. No one uses this. I mean, I could do this, but I would never use that. It's so goofy, you know? No one uses that. And no one uses the D shape either. You might use this right here. And when I mean no one, I'm like, of course someone's used it, but like, I've used it, I just did. But no one uses it generally when they're playing guitar. It's kind of goofy. So don't worry about that. But Scott, yes, start with E and the A shapes. Like I said, if you just know that F shape, which is really the E shape, right? Then you can easily play, or closely play, I should say, 108 new chords. And that's going to take care of you. Now you don't need the capo as much, right? Or still use the capo, but now when you do have a bar chord that comes along, you'll be able to play it. Make sense? Thank you, Scott, for the donation. Great stuff. Oh, and he's working through UGS Pro now. Beautiful. Okay. Some folks are asking, what's UGS Pro? It's the free program that I'm giving you today. It's the second link below. when you get there, there's paid programs, there's a $1 trial, but there's also a free program, UGS Standard. Get in there, friends. Very minimum, get in there. It's the first 30 lessons I'm teaching all of y'all, and I'm walking you through that here over the next month, okay? So definitely get in there. I promise you're gonna learn a ton. Okay, learning good stuff today. Michael with a $2 donation. Thank you so much, Michael. Super kind, bro. And somebody else. And Chris Crocker also donated $10. Thank you, Chris. Very kind. Eric, you said any open chord. Can you do that with D or C? Yeah, watch. And I use the C chord all the time, right? You've heard me, you guys have heard me play this one, right? This is a song, by Sufjan Stevens, I think is his name, Sufjan Stevens. And it's called John Wayne Gacy Jr. It's a really sobering song about a serial killer. But goes like this, right? So watch this second chord that I play. And imagine this. Here's my C chord, right? Of course, I'm playing with a capo, so it's actually a D. But if I did this, again, free up my first finger, and I do this bit right here, right? Free up my first finger. Now I could use that, because you're saying, can you use, Bob's saying, can you use the D shape? And there's my D shape now. I'm just barring the 5 strings there. Right? So, and I use that shape when I do this song. This is my arrangement of that song. It goes like this. There it is. Now I'm not barring it because I want this dissonant sound here. So now people will say, Eric, why would you use that shape? Why wouldn't you just use that shape instead of this shape? Well, listen, I can't get this dissonance. I can't get that from this. I could go. You know what I mean? But I want that drony note. I want that note running the whole time. Listen. Right? It's a theme that goes through those chords. So that's why I would use that shape. Okay, so that's why I would use the C shape. Now, why I would use the D shape, like I said, most people aren't going to use the bass note. That's the thing that makes it difficult, but this little triangle from that is real easy. Take that D shape there and move it up, right? So where you might hear this, Bob, is like if we were doing, let's say, some U2-y type of stuff, right? Maybe like this. See here. Like taking this D shape right here, right? And I'm just moving it up to D. Or I could do this on anything. I could do this to C. Let's say it was a song that was in C. And I'm going. that make sense? So we would only use a portion of the chord sometimes. Sometimes we won't use the whole chord. When I'm talking about those things, that's what I say, is I say, you might not use the whole chord, but using the cage system and bar chords, you're able to determine where those chords should be so that you can do really cool stuff like that. Make sense? Okay, good. Let's what pedal is on? So I have reverb and delay. Here's what reverb sounds like. That big hall sound, and this is what delay sounds like. Echo, echo, echo. And then if I put the two together, I get the reverb and the delay. Cool? Okay, great. So start with the E shape and then A. What's after that? Timothy, watch that video. Watch Your Guitar Sage bar chords. But the two shapes really is the E major and the A major. And then you're good there. I mean, that's gonna, like, then the next thing to look at is caged, which Steven just said. Caged is everything. Watch that afterwards. Really, those two chord shapes are the ones that you're gonna play 99% of the time, those basic shapes. Okay? And I have videos on the cage system. I have a whole course on the cage system inside of UGS. So we got the big, 1,000-something lessons, and then obviously in that I have mini courses. So one of them's just on the cage system alone. On YouTube, search Your Guitar Sage Caged. Okay? Gerald, y'all remember that playing guitar is a marathon, not a sprint. Indeed. Okay. All right, right. Cool. Look for some questions. Shouldn't we place the index finger in the same position as we are barring all 6 strings? Jim, well, it depends if you're playing all 6 strings. Like for me, sometimes I will play an F chord like this. And I'm not barring anything, see? I'm not barring this because this is strings 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I don't have to bar anything there, and you can move that up the fretboard too. Use your thumb and mute that low E string. So you could do that. You can also play your minor chords like that. If you don't want to bar, this is a super easy way to do it. You're just not playing the bass note, which the bass player's playing anyhow, so you don't have to. That's not really a cop-out either. I mean, us guitar players do stuff like that all the time to get different sounds from the guitar. So yeah. Rodney, yes, there is a community within the UGS itself. Beautiful. And it's all these beautiful folks helping each other out, saying, hey, I have difficulty with this. Do you have difficulty? And somebody will be like, yeah, this is what I did. So it's awesome. Every time you say my boy, it reminds me of Cats in the Cradle. Oh my God, that song, right? That song kills me. I never want to be that dad. I try to spend as much time with that little guy as possible. In fact, right after the broadcast, I almost always go down. You watch my Instagram, I almost always bring him down to the river because it's so beautiful right now. And we found this little spot that's like literally like a football field away from my house. I can walk down, and we have to kind of go down into the river. But me and my boy will just sit there, and the sun's shining, and we throw rocks, and we talk, and it's so fun. Yeah, my boy is, gotta love that kid, man. I have a girl too. She's 23, and I love the crap out of her too. She's amazing. Let's talk about this. My index bar finger curves a lot as soon as I place it with the other fingers down on the strings. How can I keep the index finger straight? Gene, let's talk about that. That's a great question. So what you want to do is you want to take your finger, put it up in the air like this. This is not a trick. This is for real. Put your finger up in the air like this. Take your hand or another finger and press press against the front of your finger, and then bend your finger back. Now you see that little bit there where your finger bends a little bit? That's called hyperextension. Okay? And if you do that, if you press, when you're pressing the chord, if you press a little bit more on the fingertip a little bit, then this guy will automatically come out, and that's what you want, because if you do that, it's gonna help with your bar chords. But here's the deal, Gene, watch the effing F chord, because I can tell you how to do this, but you steer your own ship. You are the only one in control of your fingers, and you have to find what you are doing specifically that's wrong for your specific chord on your specific guitar that specific day. And because of that, no guitar teacher can really genuinely tell you that. We can give you a basic idea, and I can give you clues on how to do this, but you have to navigate your own ship. Watch that effing F chord video, and I'll guide you through that. That's why we do 2 notes, 3 notes, 4 notes, 5 notes, and we work up to it, okay? Joseph, thank you so much. We got a majorly laughing, rolling on the floor, laughing pair there. Thank you, bud. Does it get progressively harder to bar up the neck where you don't bother to do it further? Dennis, you know, there becomes a point where you just, yeah, it starts getting kind of weird, but I don't know if it progressively gets harder. I mean, kind of. It gets a little bit more cramped, you know, but after a while, it just doesn't sound right. Right, Rob, avocado. Everybody was saying it was a pear. I'm thinking it's an avocado. He's green, and avocados are usually greenish. Makes sense? Makes sense? Aye, my captain, Don says. Is there a being B chord video as well? Being B chord, effing F chord, being B chord. No, there's not. I need to do one. Tips for remembering to not use, or at least limit the pressure one puts on the thumb, especially the 6-string or 5-string minor chords. Okay, this is what you want to do, is you need to be present. You need to be observant. You need to be in the moment. You hear all this stuff. It's true. It's true for your guitar as well. When people get pissed off at me and they're like, just talk about the guitar. I can't just talk about guitar and not be talking about life, because it's just all the same stuff. So what you need to do here is, when you're doing this wildcatter, is you need to be cognizant, you need to be focused, and you need to observe that you're pressing too hard. So you're saying tips for remembering. The tip from remembering is to be present in the moment and to look at your hand and ask yourself, am I pressing too hard? If the answer is yes, which it probably is, then ease up. This is how to create a habit. First, you have to notice that there's something wrong, and then you have to want to change it, and then you need to give it at least some attention, some more attention than you have in the past. It's the only way to get beyond your habits, right? Is to create a new habit. Okay, get it. You get it, got it good. All right. Headline, Florida man teaches guitar. I am a Florida man. I'm from Merritt Island, Florida is originally where I'm from, / Cocoa Beach. That's where I grew up surfing. Pears can be green too. Stephen is right. My finger doesn't hyperextend. Can I train it too? Iggy, take your hand and put your finger in the air. Okay? Wind it all the way back if you can. Now take this first finger and press it against it. And you're telling me that you can't bend it a little bit backwards? Or are you saying that it just stays right there no matter what you do? Because I got some messed up fingers, and I can still, I mean, this one's messed up, physically messed up like that. I'm not doing that purposely. I'm trying to straighten it. It cannot. I bet you, and I don't know, I've never tried it, but I bet I can bend it back. So I can bend it back, and this finger's deformed from arthritis. That's why it's crooked like that. So if I can do it, I bet you can. Press that tip back a little bit like that, and you can see that is definitely concave or convex, however you want to look at it. So definitely you can do it. When do you decide to use a bar chord versus an open chord? I would say, number one, if the sound sounds better for you, but I wouldn't typically use a bar chord where I could use an open chord, because open chords usually sound more robust, in my opinion. So I wouldn't use a bar chord where I could use an open chord, personally. Eric, what cable are you plugged into with it? Seems to be very indestructible. Yes, this is a $50 cable. It's not cheap. This is a Mogami Gold. Mogami Gold. This is their little symbol there. Can't really see that, can you? Mogami. That's what it looks like. It's a Mogami Gold cable. And they're amazing. I love them. And here's the cool thing. If you buy them through Guitar Center, if it breaks on you, you can bring them in, because that's a lifetime warranty. Say, my cable broke, and they'll say, go grab another one off of the shelf, and they'll literally let you just exchange it like that. Really cool. At least my Guitar Center here in Nashville does that. Are bar chords mainly for small variations amongst open chords? You can use it for that. You can use it for full chords. It doesn't have to be small variations. You could use it for that too. Oh, beautiful. Julie, hey, I'm on day 17 of my 5K a day in April. Taking your lead, man. Yeah, Julie. So we said, right, we're here in 30 days. So some people are meditating, some people are working out, some people are doing like a vegan challenge. They're eating better food. They're doing meditations and mindfulness and all this stuff. Julie, following my lead, she said on day 17 of a 5K every single day. Good for you, Julie. That's amazing. Wow. All right. Okay, beautiful. Yeah, bar chords can be used for all. Jamie saying, I can't hyperextend due to a scar from an avocado accident. No BS. That is amazing. I got to hear that story. So bend the end of the finger on 5 and 6 string. Yeah, so like as it's laying against it. But I'm telling you, watch that effing F chord video because I break it down into small bits and pieces for you, okay? Not only, look, this cable is $50, right? But it's not just the lifetime replacement. It's like it actually sounds better. It really is an amazing cable. I love it. Emmy's saying, what Google says this sticker is just perfect. Perfect. Okay. There you go. We got our answer. Thank you, Emmy. I never saw the Stranger Band. My second string always mutes when the bar chord. Why does this happen? Econ, because you have not watched my effing F chord video. Watch that video and it will reveal to you why it's doing that. It's probably not the guitar. It's probably the way that you're fretting it. So watch the effing F chord video because that will show you why. No one can answer that for you. You have to answer that for yourself, but you have to go through the steps. Does that make sense? It's not that hard. If you really want it, you'll watch that video. If you don't watch that video, it means you don't really want it. Just being honest. Are my strings supposed... Shoot, I missed it. Are my strings supposed to get higher as I go down the guitar? Up the guitar. This is going up the guitar because we're going up in pitch. Whoops. Up in pitch. Okay? So yes, the strings are supposed to get higher. Not a whole bunch higher, but take it to another guitar player and ask them, if they think it's too high or too low. How to take my speed up a notch to learn my first solo. Johnny, you can't take your speed up if you haven't learned a first solo. You learn your first solo. That's all you do. And you never worry about speed. Speed is a byproduct of your practicing. Speed is not a thing that a video will teach you. Ever, 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 ever. It's never happened in the history of ever. You get speed because you've practiced enough, because you've earned it. There's no other way to do it. So that's what you do. You learn your first solo, and then you practice it a dozen times, and then you practice it 100 times. You practice it 1,000 times, and then your speed is starting to increase when you do that. There is no other way to do it. That's why a great guitar player is so impressive, is because you can tell that they've worked hard, right? Or the people who don't believe in work and they believe that people are just blessed or they just are born with something, then those people were just blessed or born with it. It has nothing to do with practice. Oh my God, Eric, I helped build Cocoa Beach and hung out at the Thirsty Turtle. Oh, I love it. Yes, I've been to the Thirsty Turtle. Indeed, beautiful. Why do you associate major minor chords with numbers over letters? With numbers over letters. Because, King David, if you do this, it's kind of like this. I don't know what the highest up in the army is, like a general, I think, right? So if you're a general, you have a lot of clout in the army. But if you're on a safari, The tiger doesn't give a crap that you're a general. He's going to eat you because you're shaped like a human. So he doesn't care about your status there, right? In the same way, a C chord is a C chord always, but in the key of G, it has a different merit. It has a different role than in the key of G, okay? So what I mean by that is this. It being a C chord doesn't really mean anything except when you're grabbing the chord. But if you say, oh, it's a 4 chord or it's a 5 chord, now you have its role that it plays in the song. Okay, so for instance, if I'm in the key of C, here's my C chord, I'm gonna play C, F, and G. So we're in the key of C, here's a C, it's the end of the song. It's our one, it's our central zone, it's our tonic, it's our key, it's the place that we keep coming back to, right? Boom. So now we know what that means. It's the 1 chord. It's called the 1 because it's the first note in the C major scale. And we call this the 4 chord because it's the 4th note in the C major scale. And this is the 5th chord because it's the 5th note in the C major scale. So C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. The C is the 1, 2, 3, 4 is the F chord. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the G chord. So now, instead of going C, F, G, nothing wrong with that. It's helpful to be able to grab those chords right away, but it doesn't tell us anything about the job that that chord does. So now we have a 1, a 4, and a 5. So if we wanted to bring this to another key, say, like the key of G, we could go 1, 4, 5. And now look, now we got our C chord in there. G, C, D, still a C chord, but again, now who it is has changed. Does that make sense? So now it's a 4 chord instead of a 1 chord. It's still a C chord. So just like that general, he still can go by his name, but in the army he's going to get respect, but on a safari he gets no respect. The tiger doesn't give a crap that he's a general, right? He's going to eat him. Smells blood. So, or he smells human or whatever. So, I don't know, what a weird comparison. But you know what I'm saying? So if we just name it by C, that's one thing. But if we name it by the number, now it means something to us. Now it has, and I'm not coming up with the right word here, but it has a role to play in the song. When you start identifying these chords by their numbers, now you can see how they work in context. Make sense? That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Okay. How user-friendly is your Kemper? I'm still on the fence between this and the Helix. Go get the Kemper. I love the Kemper. It's so user-friendly. I love it. 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 Why don't you get both of them and then send one back? You know, try it for 30 days or whatever and take it back. Thank you, MG. No guitar teacher on the planet utilizes analogies in teaching as effectively as you. Thank you, bud. Can you do your morning noodle tomorrow on acoustic? John, I'll try to remember. I could do a little noodling right now. So when we're talking about chord noodling, which by the way, I've got videos for this on YouTube, just search chord noodling, but it goes like this. You know, when we're in a particular key, which we always are, we can play the chords, but if we want to embellish those chords and give it some nice a nice element of variety, then we can do that. So in the case of I'll take like a G and a C and an E minor and a D. Okay, so I'm just gonna do some fun here. I'm just gonna strum here too. So let's think how I can do this here. Let's see. Just making something up here. do. So really, I'm just playing a G chord, a C chord, and an A minor. But I've got this little theme, that little thread that runs through it. Whenever we're talking about music, when you hear a song that you love, it's because there's something about that song that's familiar. Again, we're talking about association. So there's something about that song that you love because it's familiar with something else that you know. Because if it was absolutely completely new, it's fine, it's a completely new song. But what I'm saying is there's a thread, a motif, musically, rhythmically, something that keeps you intrigued. If I just did this, that's fine. It's not as intriguing as what I just played. The reason that it is intriguing to you somewhat is because I have a rhythmic motif that I'm playing for each chord. So that's something that's the little thread that goes through. It's also, these chords are all in the same key, meaning they complement each other, right? Kind of like speaking the same language, as opposed to me speaking in English and then jumping into German and then jumping into Russian. That'd be weird. You wouldn't understand me. So here we have the context of a key or a tonal center. So these chords match. They're in the same chord family. So it sounds good together. And that's great. And that keeps things solid. And then along with the motif, the rhythmic motif, it keeps it sounding good. But if we add another motif, a little melodic twist, an embellishment, if you will, now we have something interesting to hold on to yet. Make sense? So, and we could do this with finger picking. Makes sense? So that's all we're doing, chord noodling. If you want to know more about that, search YourGuitarSage chord noodling. And I have a whole course for that inside of UGS for you, okay? It's not in UGS Standard, it's in UGS Pro, so if you want to do that, then that's what you would want to get into, okay? But that's called chord noodling, and I show you how to do that. The key of G and C are the two most widely used keys on any instrument ever because they have, number one, the key of C has no sharps and flats. The key of G only has one sharp, and it's the F sharp. And because of that, they're very closely related. You can go in and out of those keys. You can borrow chords from those two keys. They're so closely related. They work really nicely together. Good thing for guitar is it's also the majority of our open chords. So you can almost play any song ever in the key of C or G, or in the feel of C or G by using your capo. What I mean by feel is like, this feels like the key of G, but I'm using my capo. I'm not actually in the key of G. It just feels like the key of G, right? G, C, D, but we're not because we're using the capo. So if you keep things in the key of C or G, and then and then we're only one note away, right? In the key of G, the F is sharp, and in the key of C, it's natural. So you literally, if you learn those two keys, learn how to use your capo, you could chord noodle till your little heart's content, and it makes it really super easy because you're not having to learn a bunch of new things. You just worrying about the technique, okay? Yeah, I got you covered there. Check that out. Okay, great. Good stuff. How did you embellish those chords? Ryan, on YouTube, search chord noodling, okay? I embellished it because what I'm doing is I'm grabbing some other note that's within the scale. Now, you don't necessarily have to have that knowledge. You could just use your ear and say, well, I'm going to embellish that note. And then embellish that note over all the chords. So you have some sort of little motif, a musical idea that repeats itself, and then that will keep the continuity through this. Then you're going to go, oh, I get it, okay? There's enough variation because the chords are changing, the strums, you know, doing its own thing there, but there's enough continuity because you have a motif or a musical idea that repeats itself that keeps you interested in it. Make sense? Search Your Guitar Sage noodling, and I'll get you into that, okay? How do I know what notes of the chord to arpeggiate? You get to decide that. You are an artist, Evan. There is no right or wrong. It's literally whatever you want. However, that being said, usually when you start off a chord, when you're moving from one chord to the next, you usually play the bass note first to let the listener know we just switched chords. So like, switch chords, switch chords. So this is a G, C, D, and I'm literally hitting the G when I move the chord, the C when I'm moving the chord, and the A when I'm moving the chord. G on the G chord. Here's a C chord. C. Here's the A minor chord. A. D. G. Make sense? So that's the only rule to that. Otherwise, you do whatever arpeggio you want to do. Make sense? Do whatever you want to do there. Oh, I missed a donation from Gallagher. Thank you so much for letting me know that. Aw, there he is. Tom Gallagher. Sorry about that, Tom. Thank you for reminding me that I missed that. Can you go over the B chord where both fingers are making bars? I find that the A shaped is tricky. I'm having difficulty getting all three fingers. Tom, you're correct. It is. It's the trickiest of the chords, okay? So I will go over that with you, but it's the same concept as we're talking about in the effing F chord. So just take it one note at a time. That being said, in the beginning, Tom, don't try to play that low E, the high E string, high in pitch, right? Because you're going to really have to hyperextend your finger. There's a couple different ways you could play it. You could play the A chord like fingers 2, 3, and 4. Or you could play it like a bar. You could bar that. What I'm doing there, look at my hyperextension there, right? So I'm doing that so that I can, and I can barely hit that first finger there. Dear Lord, someone just did Robin just did a $50 donation, 30-day guitar challenge rocks. You are the real deal. I got to read this because that's super duper kind. Thank you. The real deal, an amazing teacher. Thank you. Health and happiness to you. Robin, thank you. So kind of you. That is super, super, super generous. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Robin, majorly coming through there. Thank you. So you can see I'm hyperextending that, but even though I'm hyperextending that, let's even get closer here. This is what we can't do in the studio. I don't get these shots, right? See, I'm barely missing that. But usually people touch that, right, with their finger. Just. So that's difficult. And then when we're playing a bar chord, it's even more difficult. So what I say is don't worry about that high E string. Just play it like this. That string's 5, 4, 3, and 2, and then that note's getting muted. Okay, but it's a booger, and it's just a matter of practice, okay? Obviously, there's some things that are harder than other things on the guitar, for sure, okay? All right, I'm gonna get to, you know something? I think that's where we're gonna end it. We did 2 hours. Friends, here's the deal. Really quickly, before you go, please hit thumbs up. If you haven't already, if you have, then don't worry about it. I appreciate that. Thank you for doing it. Hit subscribe if you like this, friends, because I'm here for you. I really do want to teach you how to play guitar. Hit subscribe. Share this with a friend today. If you haven't already, I've got free stuff for you. Lots of free stuff. Nearly 1,300 videos here on YouTube. If you want to learn how to play a song, search YourGuitarSage and your favorite artist. YourGuitarSage Beatles, YourGuitarSage Clash, YourGuitarSage Elvis, Your Guitar Sage Ozzy. I'm gonna teach you something, okay? I promise you. And I love playing guitar and I love teaching folks even more. It's really one of my favorite things to do is to get that aha moment for folks. So I'm very passionate about this. I want to help you. The very first link below will give you access to this PDF where we're every single day going live for 2 hours, beginner lesson, advanced lesson, beginner for the first hour. The second hour is going to be advanced. And there's other free stuff in this PDF, friends. Other free stuff like a meditation course that I do that I love, that's life-changing, and some Tony Robbins stuff, all sorts of free stuff. So get that. That's the very first link below. And then do not forget the most important thing. Listen to me. The most important thing if you want to improve on guitar is to download the program, or not to download. It's not downloadable. It's streaming. It has chock full of PDFs. It starts at the very first square, the easiest thing that you can do, and then we warm you up very slowly to all the concepts that you have to build, that you have to have as a guitar player. Jazz, blues, you know, rock, country, it doesn't matter. It's all the same. We're still just like hitting strings and fretting notes. We got to learn those principles first. You got to do it. That's for free for you. It's the second link below. Get in there for free. If you have any sort of testimony about UGS, leave it in the chat right now for anybody who's on the fence and like, I don't know about getting this free course. I don't know what he's up to. It's a free course, folks, because we've had 500,000 people go through it, and it helps me to have that free course out there because I don't have to answer as many questions. As you can see, I'm quite busy when I do these live chats. So I want you to have access to that. For those folks that donated today, nearly $300 today, that is magnificent. We truly appreciate you doing that. Mike thanks you, Jason thanks you, Emily thanks you, I thank you. To my crew, thank you for being here and adminning the chat. I really appreciate that. For everybody that donated, thank you. For those that liked, thank you. For those that subbed and shared this, thank you so much. You guys rule. You got the best questions. I love doing this. One of my favorite times during the day is to be here with you and to be with my kid at the river. But your questions are great. You guys are on target. You guys are learning this stuff. You know that you are capable of doing anything on this instrument if you just do. First, you got to understand that you can do it and then do the work, okay? Love you guys so much. Hey, friends, tomorrow we're going to have a big live. This is what we're going to be talking about tomorrow, okay? Number one is the 9 essential chords. You guys have been waiting for this. These are the actual chords that you need to actually play literally millions of songs. 9 essential chords and the freaking caged system. So we're stacking up what it is that we learned today, these bar chords. The cage system is revolutionary. Will absolutely change the way you understand how to play guitar and give you access to the whole neck and understand it rapidly, okay? That's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. And then we're premiering a wicked cool video tomorrow on why it is that you need to quit guitar. Wink, wink, okay? Tomorrow at 1:15, we're going to do a premiere of that video. Join me. I love you guys. Thank you so much. I'm out of here. I'm going to go play with my boy. See you. Bye.